So we'll set that beast. And yes, this is a 3D printed frame set up right now from EC Sport or Port. And we're going to, what I'm going to do is I'll end up flipping this around, and we'll be using just straight off the risers into this. We'll power this box. That way we can try a full 8 card setup. So this is 7 right here, and right now I leave 1 card open here just because there's a big wire bundle here. It doesn't fit really 8 cards very well in this without some insane wire management. So I mean, it's about as good as it gets right now with me, without having to redo some stuff to get the 8th card in there. But for right now, it's not that big a deal because we do have the RX470 here that will be using with it. So we'll test this in a little bit, but we'll let some folks get in, and then yeah, we'll take you guys to kind of over the setup real quick. And then I had started to get through the post-processing of this in a detail, and I realized that there's a whole bunch. I had more questions than I was going to give to you guys as answers. So there's still some other testing I wanted to do with this, including and not limited to pulling off the BIOS on that RX470 and seeing what that baby does, and doing some forensics on that. So today's going to be a little bit of everything. We're going to test it with a gambit of different algorithms because we didn't do it any justice last time I had a live stream. And then we're going to plug in the NVIDIA card, and then we'll go to 8 cards. So, oh, look at that. Tier 1 subscribe. Thank you, sir, for that. And that is for 2 months in a row. Thank you for that. So, yeah, we'll get a few folks in here. What I'll do is take you guys through a real close-up view of what this looks like. And then in the settings that we have right here. So let's get this guy over. It should autofocus. So we got you can see the way that's kind of set up, and you can see the board plus the RX470 sits right on one slot pretty good. And I got it screwed down from the bottom. So look at the size of that mic. Yeah, it's a professional mic. So you can see that this thing is as good as about a single DIN almost. So that's a triple DIN card right there. Here, let's get this. And then this 470 and that board actually plug it in pretty good. And I got it screwed in to the bottom. So, because you can see there's a gap on the height of it compared to a standard graphics card. There's about a 1/4 inch gap right there. So the 470 USB card right there, and then that's the motherboard set up, and you guys can see we got the one connected there, and then I'll plug in the second card here in a minute. We'll put it right there in the board. Make sure it doesn't touch there. And then this setup over here is using that newer case that we ended up getting from Amazon. I'll have some links below for this, guys, today. And, of course, we'll put this out on YouTube. I have a few videos to upload to YouTube, but we're trying to get you guys some quality shots there. And then you can see here, let me spin this around, this camera. You guys can see some of this shot here. It's kind of away from the mic, so this is a field mic, and it'll drown out any distant stuff. So I think that'd be kind of cool. We'll flip that around and plug the USB straight into the back there. So that's 7 cards. That'll fill out the rest of this later. And then you guys can see the kind of setup we got there. So let me put this back over here. And that's not, so like that's zoomed all the way out too, by the way, because I got a pretty high quality lens here that's made to do those really cool close-up shots. And yeah, let's go back to main camera. Does anybody sell that frame? Yes, that frame is actually for sale on Amazon. If you look at, I tell you what, I will make sure you guys get a link to that. Actually, we'll post it in here, and then you guys can repost it to that case. Let's do. The name of it is, it's a Rex gear. So that's the name of it, and it's the Hydra one. I'll get you guys the I mean, I got it on Amazon. They may not have any more of them. They sold out pretty quick, but let me look here. It was pretty decently priced too. Let me switch this real quick. That's the case, specifically. I've gotten my hands on an Octominer. I have not. So let's get into it a little bit. We got 33 people on. We're going to go into computer video here. So this is the little micro PC running right now. You guys can see here. So it's an AMD A6 8500P R5, 6 compute cores, which those 4 of those are the 2 cores for the computer itself, and then 4 for the R5 graphics card, which is this guy right here. 4 gigs of memory. It's actually running pretty good. And we're going to get right into it here. So we did some ETH testing out of the box with this RX470 USB. It did about 29 mega hash. I let it run. I posted on Twitter. I let it run for a couple days solid. It ran great. Had no issues. And kicked butt. So it was having a lot of memory errors. I still have not got a message back from Rebtech, but you know, I have no doubt that they'll end up responding back to me here soon, and we'll take a look at it. So what we wanted to do is we're going to do a few things tonight. We're going to go into and do some testing here before we add the NVIDIA card, because I just did a really quick test on the speed and performance out of the box of it, and I wanted to see You know, for the folks that wanted to see how it was doing with like NVIDIA or, you know, with ETH and that, we'll do a real quick just retest of that. Let's do, and I went ahead and I'm using an older version of Multiminer just for folks can see like some of the dual mining that would ever do that, but just what's the performance on stuff. Let's do 8 real quick on that. So this should be just ETH only, just out of the box. Oh, I'm gonna have to change one thing here because that little that Carazio is the R5 with 1.3 gigs of RAM. It's gonna air out on that. Let's do this. Edit. So the thing with when you have built-in APUs, which is the graphics card built onto the chip, you have to go in and you have to add a DI setting to turn that off. Otherwise, it will try to use it. So we were doing, let's do ETH only through Ethermine. That's option 3. And let's add just a DI1 there. I'm going to need that on a few things probably. I'm going to keep that in memory. Let's try 3. ETH only. It's just a giveaway. We may do a giveaway. Miss BBT should be here in a little bit, and then we can do a giveaway today, but it's not going to be of a big piece of hardware. We will do an all-time high giveaway where I'll get back into doing GPUs. But right now, it's a bit costly to be giving out GPUs right now. And we are not sponsored. All my big giveaways, guys, I take care of. I give out to you guys. I don't get sponsored giveaways. We do get some. This is a piece of equipment that Rebtech did send me. Ooh, look at that. Wonderful. 5 mega hash, boys. Let's take a look here. That's an older. How is like Claymore 2. Does do faster than 5. Save. $470 there. And we're gonna try. So the R5 will actually do some of the other like NeoScript and a few of the other ones. There it goes. Here, we're gonna give it a reboot real quick because I did install NVIDIA drivers and a few other things. Gonna give it a reboot. Oops. So it plugged into PCI 7. I'm gonna plug it in up here at the top. So you test that card on a regular riser? Yes, we did test it on a regular riser. It worked fine with an extra 580 on it, no problem. Plugged into a regular riser. Love to get a mouse pad. Yeah. Never mind, it's still that mini board. Yeah, so we're gonna. I did test it with the RX580, one of the RX580s plugged with it. I put it on Twitter, and it was running very good and successfully. With a standard riser plugged into the USB of that mini board. The main thing I have not tested is the nVidia. And we're going to test that tonight. I like doing that stuff live. I wanted to leave something for you guys to be able to view and watch. We're letting this kind of boot up. Sometimes after a update or a change, it does hang there for a second. I did notice that. It will. You'll hear a volume kick up on the 470. It just did it now. The volume just kicked in, and now it's booting up. And that's mainly because I switched position, so where it was at on that USB, so it actually had to reset the card up. So let's go in here now, make sure it sees it. It does see it. Let's go in. Oops. Let's go into 562 and let's try it again with option 3, where we did set it. We're trying to get rid of the 5 mega hash issue. The older version of Claymore, but should not matter actually. Especially for an RX470. There we go, 28.5, 25.8. 28.3. It'll settle itself all the way up to almost 29 mega hash. So you guys can see the power. I think I got the power set up to where you guys can see it when I'm on the main camera. You guys can see it's about 180 mega hash right now. The current, or 180 watts rather, and that's system. That's full system. With the RX470, so it's about 110 on the RX470. Go back here. What do you think EOS coins will become unfrozen? EOS coins will never not become unfrozen. The EOS coins are frozen on the Ethereum network, have been adjusted over to the Ethereum or to EOS's network. That was kind of their plan. Any info on Rebtech pricing? Pricing retail on these $199 for the motherboard with the 8 card setup, and then each of the cards are $299 right now, MSRP from what I've heard from them. So that is ETH running on it. We knew that. Let's test some other algorithms. So you can test out Digibyte, even though Digibyte I think's moved over now to ASICs. 41. Now this will actually run the R5 APU also, which there you see it, GPU 0 and GPU 1. This is running the RX470 and the APU itself, which is the R5 Radeon that's on the chip. And there's your setup. So the R5 is running about 2.2 to 2.4 mega hash on chip, and then 29 mega hash on the RX470. Take a look here. Task manager. Let's go into performance. We should be able to see the R5 working under compute. Let's go over to here, and it's either compute 0 or 1. Nothing under compute there. There it is. So compute 1. So the R5 built-in APU is running 100% on chip on Digibyte, so it actually can run on the chip. And then this is probably compute 0. Yep. So you can see them both working. So at least on this board, you can leverage the APU for other currencies. Any response on their sales team? No, I haven't heard anything back from them. I wasn't asking their sales team on any pricing questions. I've only asked them technical questions back to actually their engineer team on why I was getting errors with ETH. I haven't had any crashes with it, though. It works fine. It's just dumping a ton of memory errors, which makes me concerned. Digibyte's working fine. I think there's a newer version of this Feathercoin NeoScript miner, but it should. Did you drive any alpha keys for Battlefield 5? Have some fun already? I have not played with Battlefield 5. Let's see if somebody's trying to post. Why are we not online on YouTube? Because I am not live on YouTube right now. I have not been live on YouTube for a while. YouTube was having all kinds of issues for me, and I just decided to go full-time Twitch. And I'll upload just like produced content to YouTube. And then I send up like this kind of content just back to YouTube. Like I can copy and paste this up to YouTube. Feathercoin, that was not really working very well. Siacoin, which is all ASIC now. But you can see that it actually used that APU that's on that motherboard, which is pretty interesting. And that's about 620 mega hash, 622. That's both of them working together. Exceptionally slow compared to what this Siacoin miner does. I think that's like 48 gigahash or something crazy. Monero, I don't think it'd be any much different. And this I don't think is the updated driver. This might not be heavy. We'll see. Yeah, so again, this is not optimized. This card's BIOS is not optimized from Monero, so we're only getting about 579. There it goes. 7. It's still, we should be able to get it 850. So it's about 768 hash. Yeah, you can. The problem, yeah, with Twitch, people are asking about not dual streaming. I started dual streaming there for a little bit, you know, where I was using RealStream to stream to both. The problem with that is I have a couple problems with that. Well, first off, the The Twitch has a big problem with you dual streaming. First off, like they do not like to let you become partner if you're dual streaming to two different content sources. And then the second part is having to watch two audiences, where I can watch you guys right now on the chat and I can see you guys chatting, to interact with you guys and answer questions and stuff. If I'm having to toggle between both YouTube and Twitch, it was kind of I was alienating one of the audiences, and I did not like doing that. So I think just using YouTube as like static content that I upload is probably a better play. I mean, my live streams on YouTube had a lot more people, and that's mainly because the critical mass of YouTube is a lot larger. So I am giving up a lot of just live streamers. I mean, where I would have 400 or 500 people at a time on my streams on YouTube, I get, you know, a 10x reduction of that on Twitch. I mean, I don't know YouTube's rules on dual streaming. I mean, I think it's kind of BS. Like, you should be able to stream wherever you want, and they should be happy that you're giving them content to both. But I think since they're both monetized, it's kind of like double dipping. Even though if I take this content and just upload it to YouTube, yeah. So see this block error right here is because the algorithm I'm using right now is not the Kryptonite heavy. Because this is 562 multi-miner didn't have the update. YouTube has more people in it. Yeah. You get a lot of lag on Twitch? Interesting. I would always get people saying the opposite. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about Linus saying that YouTube was going to ban their ability to stream. A lot of bigger YouTubers have not moved over to Twitch, though. That's for sure. Like, YouTube is taking care of them. But I know if you leverage their platform to try to move people over, they do not like that. All right, let's see if this guy can do an NVIDIA card. What do you guys say? Shut this down. Trying out some different algorithms on there just to see if it was working. It does. Let's go back to main camera. So what I'm going to do is all I'm doing is plugging in the USB into one of the other slots, and we're going to watch it from boot up. I have not done this yet, so I was saving this glory for you guys to be able to watch live on the live stream. So we're going to see how this functions and does. Man, that camera is right in my way. Actually, it's not really serving a purpose right now right there, so let's move it. We're going to just power source down here. Power that off. We're going to switch back to this, and we're going to power this on. The big thing we're going to be looking is in the BIOS of what it says in the upper left-hand corner. If it detects that card. Or if we end up throwing an error. Interestingly, I'm not seeing it post. Back to main camera. Let's see if it comes up in the bottom right hand corner. Sometimes with some machines. No, I can hear it booting. It's just not displaying video right now. Now I'd be very interested if it actually moved this to be the primary adapter. I hear it running as if it did boot. I still do not see anything on the video on the main board. I'll pull this off. What we're going to try to do is kind of pop this guy loose. This thing is made to hold this card, so we're going to see if it gets it off. And back. And then what I'm going to do is bring this over so we can plug this in. Nope. Seeing if this was actually moving this card to the primary video source, which it's not. I just powered it off. See if we can replug this back in. So it is not liking the NVIDIA right now. Mixed with the USB card, maybe. So what are you mining this? Oh, mining this day. I'm mining ETC right now, Ethereum Classic. All right, still no video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shut this off. We're gonna pull the RX470. I'm gonna plug that in. Make sure this is plugged in. It's still spinning fans. We're gonna move this back and put this back in place. I do like that. And I can just pop it back into place there. We're gonna leave the 470 unplugged. Just have the NVIDIA on, and let's see if this board fires up, detecting this, and maybe it's just a dual issue. Not seeing anything. Computer video, nothing. Let me go into the advanced settings and just see if it's the adapter card not picking up the source. Let's deactivate it. Let's reactivate it. No, because I mean, think about it this way, like agnostic to the drivers for NVIDIA, it still should get a post screen, and I'm not getting the post screen. Let's power that back down. Power that back on just with the RX470 plugged in, just to make sure the video source is toggling on. Because now I don't see the video coming up on that motherboard at all. Let's switch over to computer video, properties, deactivate, activate. And there's that. So when I activate and deactivate, it was popping up. It did not do that with the other. All my miners right now are doing is making their electric company richer. Yeah, I mean, there's a math problem going on right now with the profitability being way down. The operational expense cost does not change. And if you're in a very sad, situation where you do not have, it's way out of balance right now, you have to consider if acquiring the coins with higher difficulty are worth it right now with your current situation before profitability comes swinging back up. I mean, we have pretty cheap power here, so I can still run for a while, and I'll run in the red for a bit just to acquire continued coins, because that's what I've done with in the past, and I see a good bright future with it. So, but if it's way, way out of balance, it doesn't make sense, It's an individual, question. What I'm going to do is go ahead and just install the NVIDIA drivers. We will try that just to see if maybe it's just not getting to the post, but it is getting to Windows. Let's see here. We're going to run. Go ahead and install the NVIDIA drivers on it. I mean, I can't imagine this is going to be an issue. And I'm going to try it with another RX card too. So let's get this installed, because this is kind of a big deal. Like, if you're going to buy this motherboard just by itself and then you're going to try to, set it up with your NVIDIA cards, you got to know if it works or not. As I was saying that earlier, what coins I was mining, I'm mining right now mostly all ETC, Ethereum Classic. Yeah, if I see some of the side conversation right now, people are talking about content creators and revenues and stuff. I mean, if you're in the crypto space right now, it's as red as the pricing's been down. Like, our content output that I was doing with Bitsby Trippin' was not making a ton of money at any capacity. I mean, I'm at 33,000 subscribers or 38,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we were never like competing with anybody like for any kind of revenue streams. I mean, you guys are awesome that do the Twitch Prime, subscribe and stuff like that. But when you come down to the, to try to do this full time, if this was a full time thing, it would be it would be a dire situation. Just because the revenue side on the, the ad sharing and all that stuff has went down exponentially on YouTube. So, I mean, a lot of these content creators are really struggling that do it full time and have staff. So that's why you see like them doing these separate content creation revenue things. I try to get some Rave RVN going, but the script would not flipping run on Windows 10 or Simple Mining OS. Are you trying it on AMD cards or NVIDIA cards? Thanks for that follow, Luke. Anybody that's followed that I missed tonight, I'll try to get to those. I'm very bullish on RVN. Yep. So it couldn't finish the rest of that driver because there's no NVIDIA cards on there, but we're going to shut this back down. We're going to try this one more time. All right, so it's off. back on. Still not posting. The interesting thing is that even with the RX470 plugged in earlier, it wasn't posting either. On NVIDIA, Simple Mining OS kept getting a driver, GPU driver not loaded error. I would re-download the latest version of Simple Mining memory stick, have one card plugged in and see if you can get it to function, and then just add the cards in after that. Or does it work with other? Miners crash right away. I mean, are you sure this power supply can handle RVN? Because I've seen some people that just spec their power supplies out just enough to handle ETH, but ETH, the spikes that RVN will have sometimes will spike the power supply and cause a crash. All right, yeah, we're still not seeing. I'm gonna try to toggle main camera again through the interface here. Main computer, computer video, properties, deactivate the capture card, activate the capture card. Nada. Nothing. Might have to try a different NVIDIA card and just see. I mean, I cannot imagine that NVIDIA does not work on this. It should not be any different unless there's just something that will not let it go to it. Let's do computer video. Actually, let's go back to main camera. I'm going to shut this down again one more time. And now that immediately shut off, so it doesn't even sound like it's booting to Windows. I'm going to plug in the... Here, let's do this. Let's cut the power here. Let's plug this in to the secondary. We're going to put the RX470 back in the first slot. And we're going to fire this back up. We're going to give it power again. We're going to power everything back up again. And what I'm looking for is I'm listening for the 470 to spin up like the fans are having a thing. And that means that I know it's at least booting Windows, because that's what was triggering it to kick the fans up, because the fan profile gets loaded into Windows, and the fan profile kicks them up to like 3,000 RPM, so you can actually hear the fans spin up. So if it's making it that, then it's actually making it into Windows, and it's just not on the display profile to allow it to show out on the built-on. So there's the fans, so I know it's getting into Windows because the fan profile is loading. So now let's try to do main camera, computer video. Let's retoggle that again. Deactivate the capture card. Reactivate the capture card. Nope, it's not triggering that. Okay. Shut it back down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a different card. Thanks, Big Scope, for that Twitch Prime subscribe, buddy. We do appreciate that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a different card than this TI. This is a 1070 Ti. I'm going to bring over a different GPU, and we're going to put into this spot here. So we're going to pop this back off again, and I'm going to pop this riser off. I'm going to pull these two guys here. If we get back to an all-time high time, guys, if crypto recovers, which it will, not if, it's a when. I firmly believe that. Then this Zotac 1080 Ti I will give away. So let's all pray for a crypto recovery, and then this will be the first thing as a celebration gift. I'm optimistic with you. Yeah, and then that'll be, and don't worry, you guys will know when that happens. So that'll be announced. If I'm giving something like that away, we'll do it like where people can enter it for a week type of thing. I want a lot of participation in that, if possible. We're gonna get the drill for I can get this back in. Don't go anywhere. And hell, if it blasts past all-time highs, I might do a 1080 Ti. That'll really get some participation. Now I gave away 3 graphics cards this last year when crypto was going up. So we gave a 1070 AMP Extreme Edition. I gave it was a 1070 AMP Extreme Edition I gave away. I gave away a Gold Edition RX580, and then I gave away an XFX 580 brand new. An 1180 Ti. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, boys. When the new cards come out, I will have the new cards and we will test those. So that will be something I will purchase and have, just like I did with the 1080 Ti or the Titan V. That was a good video. So when the NVIDIA Titan V came out and picked up one of those, that was actually one of my most popular videos. That actually got picked up by a lot of folks. So all right, so this is an RX470, or no, this is an RX480 strict edition triple fan. It's of an AMD class, and what we're testing is just to see if that slot or this card or the riser is an issue. So let's give this thing some more power. Back on. Lots of RGB. Let's fire this thing up. Let's see if it fires up. And that's what we're going to be testing. What's up, Crypto Nuffy? How's it going, buddy? All the RGB. Yeah, I got 3 RGB fans in this one, just like these. So it should be interesting. We got... This has got lights, it's just not... It's not fired up. Let's see. We might have a riser issue. Who knows? Like, because this is actually a good thing. Because I tested this earlier with an RX580 and everything worked fine with the USB, but I'm not getting anything on this showing on the screen right now, and I'm not getting the frame profile to kick on. Let's go into computer video. Properties. Oh, there we go. So it was an issue with that. Let's go to computer video. What's this telling us? Recovery. No, just restart my PC. I had to shut it down a couple times. So what that's telling me, guys, right here is that when I had that NVIDIA card plugged in, I was actually getting... It was getting into Windows with that NVIDIA card, but for some reason it was not getting to the display to show this. This is the screen we were looking for, where we wanted to see it show what card was on that BIOS. So that's another question I got to ask Rebtech, is what's with the deal with the NVIDIA. Now I am going to pull a couple other NVIDIA cards over. We will try another NVIDIA card. We won't just... The 1070 Ti doesn't work, so we don't test anything else. We will test another one tonight. Oh, I'll skip that crap. We don't need that. Your 8 card AMD card is making 18. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Somebody might be just pushing the buttons on XMR. I haven't heard of anything yet. Crypto enough. I'm trying to Bitsby drinking game tonight on one bottle of red. Damn risers. Yeah. Yeah, I need to do another Bitsby drinking night. I mean, you guys seem to like that one, and that was pretty fun. It's just been so, like, the summer is like horrible for me. Like, you guys are gonna see so much of me in the, you know, in the fall, like, because that's just when I like can operate like on, you know, a lot of the computer stuff in general. It's just over the summer is just such a busy time. Summer in the States, man. Like tomorrow at 5 a.m. on a flight, taking the family out to Las Vegas. We're gonna try to do a live stream out there. So I'm gonna be in Las Vegas for the week. But I'm gonna have the fam, so we're gonna do some stuff, see some shows and stuff. So we take off at 5 a.m. I'm gonna be up at 3 in the morning, and yeah, that's gonna suck. But Vegas stream. Yes, Vegas vacation. That would be, and it's going to be a hoot. Let's do this. Device manager. RX480. Okay, so that is because there's a BIOS on this. A custom BIOS. You know, one thing I'll say is this 470 has obviously a custom BIOS on it. But I get, since they digitally sign that, you don't have to do the pixel patcher, which is kind of nice. Do I have a pixel? Do I have a pixel? No, I don't have a pixel patcher here. Pixel patcher AMD. That's to get rid of that exclamation point. Did that. Give it a quick reboot. So we will test this. I'm going to pull another nVidia card here in a minute, and then we'll throw it in there. But before we probably do that, I'll probably spin this big rig around, and we'll plug all 8 slots up, and we'll see this thing running with 8 cards. Green screen. Let this thing boot. What else you guys got going on, man? I haven't seen you guys in a week. I haven't been doing near the streams I wanted to, guys. It has just been so busy. Actually, I have the outline of the next episode right there. That's kind of like intro, what is the product, motherboard card, power supply, stats, pricing, highlight of the live stream, which is just taking some of the stuff in this stream and the previous stream that I did. Ease of setup, AMD card working out of box. What's the consensus on the memory errors, which I have not got back from Rebtech yet, so I was kind of waiting for them, and I can answer that question. There's a BIOS switch on this card, so we haven't tested that yet. I want to test that. You know, and then just XMR performance. So we did see XMR performance earlier. We got about almost 800 mega hash out of the RX470. Not too bad. Haven't done our Raven performance yet. And then just testing nVidia and all that kind of stuff. All right, so this should be back up. Let's go back to computer video. Came back to Pixel Patcher here. We'll see if it's in here. Right click on the start button there. Device manager. And there we go. Pixel Patcher fixed it. So I just Googled Pixel Patcher for those folks that haven't seen that before. AMD, Pixel Patcher AMD, and then you'll find that first link. We'll get you to a zip file that will allow you to fix and correct those issues. So now we have the 470 and the 480 in here. Let's take a little gander here of what output will be here. The machine's thinking right now. Let's make sure the compute mode is on that RX470. So here's the 480 rather. It's in graphics mode, so we're going to switch it to compute. Yes. Working that process early at 80% CPU, 40% memory usage right now. Look at that Cortana using, like Microsoft, I want the option to turn that off and disable it completely. AMD host application as it's spinning back up that. Close that. Okay, let's take a look and see. Cortana drives me freaking nuts. Yeah, I hear you, man. That's the kind of output we get here. Let's go back to... Now, we have the DI settings. Hold on real quick. In this. 1 and 2. Save. We're doing that because we want to ensure the R5 APU does not run, because it's just going to give us an error because it's only 1.3 gigabytes of memory that's shared. So there's the 2. The RX480 with the 4 more compute units. And 29.6. So the 2 cards right now drawing, let's go to the bigger screen, main camera. Main camera, you should be able to see right now, 330 right now. A little bit of power usage there for 2 cards, Jesus. But the RX480 does use a little bit of juice. And this is not undervolted or any of that kind of fun stuff to drop the power tables down on that. It should be using about a full system that should be about 260, not 330, if we optimize the power usage. If we brought down the power a bit on both of them, we should be able to get that down a lot. But right now, just out of the box, not optimized. The 28.3 is the RX470, and then the 29.2 is the RX480. So 57 on that. Okay, so that's cool. Let's do 16. Let's see what XMR does here. How are you doing with the BBT multi-miner? I have not put the time that I need to into it. Let's just say that. I have not. I need to update it, guys. So part of my research in the last week, I mean, I went and talked to a large government body in Washington, D.C. This last week, and I just have not had the focus time. I've been focusing on that to make sure that I'm doing that correctly and not dorking anything up with that. And it has not allowed me to have the time to go through and put a proper update to the multi-miner. Because, I mean, there's a whole load of other algorithms and currencies that I know you guys want to do. What's the dev feed? The dev feed is taking a shit here. Hold on. There we go. It just wasn't connecting there. So 14. Now this is giving me a low difficulty per share. Yeah, it's giving me a JSON error here, but you can see the output. This is an old multi-miner version, so it's just disconnecting. So 1458. I mean, it should be 1600 hash right now. Kryptonite would be optimal for these two cards. So I'm looking at about 700 a piece on them. What's the power that you can get down to the 480? So that for RX480, we should be able to get to about 110, 105 watts on that card. Right now it's using about 127. But that's, right now it's just running the full 1.2 volt. So we need to be able to about 990. If I set the undervolt to 990, will be, it's 0.990. It'll, in the power table, set to about 3, which would be about 1060 megahertz on the core. On something like ETH, and that card will actually be right there at about 105 watts. You can get the 470s and the 480 or the 570s down to like 90 watts. Hey, Strong Pain, what's going on? It has been a while, buddy. So, and I did not have, I don't think I have a, do I have an Evermore? Oh, I need to configure Evermore. I need a fresh copy of that for Raven to see the Raven performance on them. But let's shut this down. What we're gonna do now is we know that the board. I mean, the main goal of this was to ensure you could use a riser with the Rebtech board. So that confirms that you can use a standard normal card RX series. Right now, RX series. We haven't looked to see if there's a issue with the nVidia or not, but RX series cards, no problem with the Rebtech board if you're using regular risers. You do not need to use their USB enabled RX470. So that's a good point. And what's this thing trying to just shut down? Yeah. Oh, you bastard. I don't want to air. Just shut down. Shut down. That host. Shut down anyways. Callisto. I'm relatively out of touch here. Are you talking about the name of the card? Which light is that? Is it this one? Here, let's bring this out. There we go. That's the R5 that's built onto the APU. It's named, I think, Callisto. Now I'm going to spin this guy around. We got to get this plugged in. No, the coin. Oh. Well, that's funny because you were asking Callisto, and that was actually, I think, the code name for the R5. Not light. I do like rubber feet though. All right. Well, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to take these risers and plug them into the back of this card, and then I have the close-up cam so you guys can get the kind of shot of it here in a minute. unplug all these. Keep these in here. That should work. And then I gotta power this from the 2 power supplies that are in this to power the cards on the other side. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna shut this power off. Unplug this guy. So we don't need this here right now. And take this out of the loop. And this. And then I'm going to unplug this guy because I want to spin this a little bit around. I can have a good angle of attack here. And we're just going to plug this in. And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys a close-up view of what's going on here in a second. This does make life a lot easier, though, this little board. Comparable to like a normal full-size PC. But it's the lovability of it is going to go down quite a bit for me if it does not support nVidia. Because that's like... That's not good. You need to be able to support nVidia. For a motherboard, you got to be agnostic. That's my biggest gripe with the Asus boards that require the P106, P104, P102 mining edition cards to get to the 19 GPUs, or even the new board that's coming out that has the 20 GPUs. Having to have an nVidia card as a requirement is a little bit of issue with me. Alright, so that actually plugged in pretty seamlessly. Now let's get this plugged in, and then I'm going to everything's going to come into there. So I need to get a couple plugs. Okay, so we're gonna come into we're essentially gonna have 3 power supplies plugged into this 20 amp, but it's really only gonna be 8 cards on it, so. And I'm going to come around this way. interesting setup here. Those are lit. And that's lit. You can see all the RGB underneath there. That's pretty funny. And then what we're going to do is fire up let's boot this guy up. Let's see if we see stuff. Let's close up cam. All right, boys, we're missing one. We'll figure out which one it is. We have 6. We have 6 there. Let me check the other side here. So we may have one riser here that I have to mess with, but we'll test it. So we'll see which card in this box is having an issue. I was kind of tugging on some of these wires, so I might have yanked one of the wires out of the other. So this is going to take a second because it's got to set it up. It's a fire machine. I've tried to convince my wife to go on the cruise. Yeah, we're doing a cruise, kind of a crypto cruise. I have most of the BBT clan going. There's always one. Yes, it would not be like... I'm glad that this happens sometimes on video, on live, because, like... Is this the first time setting up the Rebtech motherboard? No, this is the second stream of this. But the first stream was very, very basic, and I actually did a very quick live stream with it. That's all the way up. Troubleshooting's half the fun. So I switched to this view because we know Windows, when it first sees all these cards, it's got to go through and set it up. So it's going through and setting up. That's why that screen. So when we see it come out, this screen right there, when it goes to the actual Windows up, it should be all the way there. How's the lighting? It looks a little washed out. I have some extra lights on the side now, so it might be a little too bright. Oh yeah, the watt meter. The lighting looks fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I have quite a bit of lighting in here now. So it should make things look a little crisp and clear. I mean, I can kind of drop some of these to that one down a little bit. How about that now? That's I put them at about 30%. The side lights. Sweet. Nice. All right, we got a black screen there right now, so that's just Windows doing its thing. You can kind of always tell if the machine's doing some stuff with the watt meter. You can see the watt meter. I like this view right now because you can see the watt meter stood up there. It's setting about 200 watts while it's like loading up all the cards and drivers and stuff. Is there something that's keeping this from using simple mining? Yes, they're having an issue with simple mining. I haven't tested it yet, but they said when they sent it over to me that they were having an issue with simple mining OS. So we got a green screen here, so I don't know if that's it rebooting, maybe? Maybe it just died. It hasn't rebooted. Yeah, looking good. The camera watt meter comes in great. Yeah, nice. I need to switch the note on so the main camera here right now is an AX100. So I used to have an AX53 there, and it just finally like had an issue. I have two AX100s now. So I have a mobile AX100 also, which I'm going to be taking to Vegas for the live stream for Vegas. Looks like it's still trying to load. What's up? You can go check, yeah. Little kiddos wanting to run across the street. How much would you pay for 30 mega hash on ETH 580 these days? So like buying a RX580. An RX580, I wouldn't, if it's a used RX580, my kind of buy prices have been about $220. 200 to 220, no more than 240. Like I might pay 240 for like a like golden sample power colors, brand new ones. Personally, that's like by like this Rebtech RX470 for $200. $299 is a bit high. We're still on a black screen here. Let me go through. You know, Windows and AMD are like arch enemies. Let's go to computer video. Properties, deactivate, activate. Yeah, it's just, we're gonna let it do its thing. It's still working. Well, it's got a built-in $2 riser. Yeah. And power just all right. So it's the third green screen that we've had. It's not a reboot. That is not rebooting. It's just like it's trying to load the drivers or something. When all else fails, I'll put my rigs on Crypto Night. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm on ETC right now. I gave you guys kind of the rationale why I was on ETC. I think I'm very bullish on ETC purely from the basics that we know. Oh, look at that. So you give it some patience and let it run. There's Windows coming up. You know, ETC with the announcement on Coinbase saying that they're going to support Ethereum Classic. At a minimum step, these things for some reason like to correlate with each other. So if you have a situation where your Ethereum, where like Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash has been anywhere from 10 to 15% spread, if you have, and Litecoin, you know, kind of snapped into that third spot, you have Ethereum out there, you know, say Ethereum's 500. The likelihood, because just the way these things roll, it seems they like to snap to each other at a certain percentage, and being like 7% or 6% of a value of a like entity on the same platform like Coinbase just doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. So I'm taking a non-correlated position of saying that Ethereum Classic will snap to about a 10% of Ethereum when it's on Coinbase. So based on that theory, that's why I'm mining ETC. And it's a theory. It's not, nobody knows this. It's just, it makes sense the way I've seen other crypto assets snap to each other. And if Ethereum Classic falls into a 10% lockstep with Ethereum, then if Ethereum's at 50, I see Ethereum Classic at 50. Or, you know, if Ethereum's at $500, I see it at 50. If Ethereum's at 400, I see Ethereum Classic at 40. I don't see it at 15. So just from a pure speculative, non-correlated to any one particular result, short of just looking at other crypto assets, that's where I see it. That's why I'm mining it. What is making that noise? There is a fan that was caught. It was underneath the thing. So when Ethereum Classic gets added there, I feel like it's going to take a lift. And we can come back to this video and go, haha, you were wrong, bro. But if not, and it ends up going up, then maybe I made a good call. What pool are you using for ETC? I use Nanopool for ETC. All right, so I think this is up. Let's take a look. Computer video. Let's see here. We're going to mine with the 6 right now. I think it's 6 in there, or 7. And then we're going to identify which one on this box is having the issue here. It looks like everything found its life. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 7th is the 470. There's a much faster way to do this, but we're going to go ahead and go through this manually. There's a registry key. You can go in there and set as a setting to move everything to compute. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I don't do it enough. Swapping over when they announced to Coinbase is going to be, because it's going on Coinbase. Yeah. ETC does work on my miner on all versions of it. You don't have to, you just configure ETC wallet. You can download any version of multi-miner. It has Ethereum Classic support. XMR, I'm bullish on XMR too. I think the privacy coins in general are going to do well, and even with all the drama with right now with that you have with Zcash right now included, I think you're still going to have. It's still the privacy coins are going to do well. It's more about the regulation of how the KYC stuff's going to shake out with privacy coins, but you got XMR. There's a good following with XMR. And, you know, I think that XMR will do very well too. The coins that are established that have the most runway, good, you know, spread adoption, people understand what it is, and then you add in the added utility of some of their functions, and you're going to have a very good opportunity with most of these coins. You know, mining the outer echelon, I would call it the edgeware of the space. So when you start talking like Ella and you know, Pearl and all these other coins that are out there, you know, you're taking much more of a risk because, you know, what other advantage do they have? You know, some people could say that about RVN, but RVN's a little different because of the approach to keeping it super open source, super not committal of having an organization. I think that part of it also hurts it. I believe in the decentralization of things for sure. I think it's a much more palatable in the long term situation. However, some leadership and guidance in some capacity goes a long way. So you still need some kind of owner of specific execution steps. Like if they're going to say, hey, we're going to work on assets this whole asset tool. Well, like obviously that needs to be that's a project. It needs to be ran. It needs to be maintained. And you just cannot rely on individuals to be individually heroic all the time. So you're gonna have to have some kind of funding against that. If you listen to the Patrick Byrne discussion that he's had on the Business Week discussion, where they had funded the development of X16R. Well, I mean, that was, so right there, it was funded. It was maintained by a centralized entity to help build a platform. So I would just say that, that's a big deal. Like, you got to have some kind of momentum. Yeah. But having people participate in that is going to be good. But I've seen a lot of people complain about RVN and not being on a main exchange. But guys, I mean, you got to look at it like the focus of it was to get content out, to get the asset system out there, and then if you build it, they will come type of situation. To just get into the speculative bubble of just trading and stuff in the short term, it wasn't really what the intention of RVN was about. But there's no way in hell I would divest from the RVN that I have before it hits a major exchange. So it's kind of like, I'm not worried about it hitting a major exchange right now. I'm not pushing that narrative on YouTube or trying to bring a lot of awareness to that. And I would say when you have situations where it's where you can get an opportunity on something before it's well known, I mean, that that's your spot. It's not on a major exchange right now. So get yourself a Crypto Bridge account if you want to participate in it. 15 million to get on Binance. Yeah. So, I mean, the critical mass will push those onto those current. I mean, so they did a vote recently to put it on Binance or any of the I think it was Binance did a vote. And the coin that got selected, I mean, I tried to do some research on it, and it looked like it was totally gamed. I mean, somebody spent some money to buy a lot of votes, and, you can't find that currency on that got on there, like much about it. Like, it's totally, I forgot which one it got on there, but when I looked at it, it was like not a big currency. Where's the compute on this one? Here, give me it. Let's see here. Graphics, compute. This is painful. I know that there's a registry thing to make this faster. Yeah, PundiX. Like, what? That's nearly the entire market cap of Raven. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's whatever one that was on there. It's all right. I think we have one more. We might have one more. Hive OS. Hive OS does not work with this, from my understanding. The Linux on this board right now is not configured all the way there. Like, they're waiting for the APU. The gap on this Rebtech 8 GPU blockchain PC board with those is the issue with the ACE. What are the which GPU? Or I think it's A8500. Where is it at? This guy here. This CPU here. So this AMD A6 8500P with the Radeon R5, that is the problem and the gap right now on putting this on Linux. So something with the APU needs a kernel update for Linux, and then you can put it on Linux. So they were waiting for that. And they're actually waiting from AMD. There's a higher chance of somebody just... oops. I think I have one more card. I'm never going back to Windows if I don't have to. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Windows, there's just so many problems with Windows if you're mining. Like, it's very hard to stay consistent over a long period of time because Windows will do random stuff like update itself when you have everything turned off. And that update will then ruin your life, and you'll have spent a week trying to get it fixed. Especially if you have an AMD rig. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this should be it. How about no? That might be the APU. I think that's the APU. And that's, yeah. I think we're good. Let's give this a whirl. And what we're going to do is we're going to see which card is down on this. But right now you're going to see at least 7 on there. And that was kind of the test. And then once we get through that kind of issue with all this, and we're making sure that this thing runs with all 8 cards, then I will go through a couple NVIDIA cards and see if we can get it done. Allow. I don't know why the miner or the bot was putting you in timeout there, buddy. Downloads. Let's take a look here. Oh, I have to go in there to the DI settings. Hold on. I have a custom thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're just going to put all of them in there just because. Oops. That way we don't have to come back in here. We just don't want 0. We don't want GPU 0 to fire. Let's take a look. It's saying 8 AMD cards because the APU, so don't get confused. We are still down 1 GPU. There it is, the 7. Oh, OpenCLL. There we go. Okay, so let's give it a reboot. So that's just... That is just a... After it got set up all the cards here, 2 things I usually do, which I did not do. I'll usually go into even though it doesn't show the issue with having a pixel patcher, I still go ahead and digitally sign them, and then I'll give it a reboot here after all that's done, and then we'll go ahead and try it again. So what that is, the driver's not all the way loaded. Thanks for those 14 bits, buddy. You were watching some ads. Top of the list. Number 1 cheer. I hear you. Take advantage. You're going to start a war. Somebody's going to knock you off with 15 cents. LeBron James is going to the Lakers. For any basketball fans. Sorry, bud. That's all I had. It's all good, brother. LeBron a Laker. Ew. I just got a message update for that for some reason. Well, let's try this again. Ah, Crypto Nuffy coming in with a 600 cheer. Thanks, buddy. You know, 15 cents would have put you on top, bro. But nobody's gonna push that away. What's up, BBT Brett in the house? Spot with Twitch Prime subscribe. Thanks, buddy. Hey, we're rocking your 3D printed thing here. Wrapping up here. I've been rolling for a bit, a cool almost 2 hours. We're gonna get this thing checking. It's 1 through 7. Save. EC Spot. Got the 8. See if it takes a crap. Is it raining? Thundering storm? Lightning? Cannot create. Blah. GPU. Blah. Dying. Blah. Hold on. We got a few GPUs having issues here. GPU watchdog error. Nah, it's not a DAG file issue. It's just we're gonna try 16. Probably need to reload the drivers. We need a bottle of wine. That ain't happening tonight, boys. This is Bits be drinking. They went round 2 of that sometime. I'm in. Yeah. Ms. BBT just got down here. Bits be wasted. No. No, that would be funny. Oh, blah, 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 blah. GPU 4. Lots of errors, boys. 2000 hash. Oh, you know what? I know what the problem is, boys. I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. I have no doubt. I have not done any. Oh, that just took a crap. I do not have the virtual memory set in this machine at all. It's a virtual memory issue. Crypto Nuffy says, "Hey, Christy." Yeah, it's virtual memory. No virtual memory was set on this after the rebuild. Restart. RIP. Yeah, we're gonna set the virtual memory. That's why only like 4 cards were working. Is it took a crap on 3 or 4 of them, and then it was like, what are you mining lately? ETC, Ethereum Classic. You out? No. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up here in a minute. We're gonna get this fixed, and then we're gonna wrap it up. The thing I left you guys hanging with though is the nVidia thing, and we need to figure that out. So I'll see if maybe off Well, we're gonna let this reboot here. We killed it, boys. We're gonna let this reboot here, and then what I need to do is I have an nVidia rig, 1070 rig, not here. I'm gonna bring it back, and we'll do this same kind of thing with the nVidia rig. Stretching this thing out in 3 different videos. What's your speculation once it hit Coinbase? I said this earlier. That my speculation once it hits Coinbase is going to snap within 10% of ETH. I think it's going to be a lockstep with ETH at 10%. So if it's at $15 right now and ETH's at 400, it should snap to 40. And I think it's just going to be people are going to see that asset on Coinbase, and they're going to be like, hey, you know, there's $15 asset. Oh, it's Ethereum. Why is it so cheap? It's the same rationale when I talk to people sometimes when they have a Coinbase account and they're like, oh, well, I got the other Bitcoin too. What do you mean the other Bitcoin? Oh, the one that's Bitcoin Cash, it's like half the price, or, you know, a tenth of the price. I don't feel so bad wasting a whole day on this rig. It takes you 2 hours on this. If it takes you only 2 hours on this. Now we can figure this out, man. Most of the issues I run into, we can usually fix in a couple hours. That's why I like trying to, you know, I was going to edit this. I'm just going to send this whole thing up to YouTube as is. People can just deal with the length on it, because troubleshooting is part of the art of this space, and you need to know how to do it. And iterative stuff like this is key. Let's do system. Do you know if it's legal to have a shop to buy or sell BTC to people? Yes, if you're buying and selling any crypto asset to people directly, you are considered a money changer if you're in the United States, and you either have to be licensed to do that, or I would go through a licensed entity, because you'll get busted for it. There were some people down in Florida that got nailed for that. They were kind of doing the local bits thing because they consider it currency and an asset. So it's confusing because they tax it as an asset and you pay capital gains on it. Yet it's still considered a currency. So like if you go to sell it to somebody else, that's where the confusion lies. And that part needs to be clarified for sure. I have brought that up a couple times. I'm making sure I had, okay, I have 93 gig. That should be enough. So we're going to set this up real quick. Advance. Uncheck this guy. Custom. 20. 30. We're going to hard stop this, boys, in less than 10 minutes. Give this a quick reboot. Yeah, they're double dipping. What the heck happened here? Y'all boxed in the friend. That DAG issue took me 4 hours to work out that it was a V-memory issue. Yeah, that happens, man. It's bothering me that PCI 5 is not being seen, but there's probably something in this box. I just put this back together today. We got a pack after this. What's up? Well, that was her. Remember, they're making Oh, I don't care. I can get up at 5 a.m. We're all talking about our early ass flight to Vegas. I would have to be up at 2:30 in the morning. Get everybody ready and out the door because you know it's a good 40-minute drive to the airport for me. So yeah, that's an early morning. So I'll be on the flight at 5:05 in the morning. The plane takes off at 5:05, and I have a 40-minute drive to the airport. Surprisingly, all the food trucks here take crypto. That's funny. Yeah, all the flights from St. Louis seem to leave at 5 a.m. Yeah, that happens. All right, so that's up and running. Let's just try this. This is our last run. And then we're shutting this one down. Enter. What ETC wallet do I use? I use Jax for most of the stuff, which is kind of crappy lately. But if you're going to use one on the PC, I've used Exodus lately. I don't keep a lot of stuff hot, so Exodus is pretty good. Oh, look at that. No errors. Virtual memory wins. 206 mega hash, boys. Running on the Rebtech 8GB solution here. So it was the virtual memory. Cool. I'm gonna let this run for a bit. Take a look at Twitter. We'll take a picture of it before I call it a night tonight, and we'll see if it's stable. We'll let it run and see if it's good. Let's roll those subscribes tonight and the bits. Crypto Nuffy. And we'll catch you. We're gonna do a stream. You can see the 7 cards, about 1170 watts of power for the 7. Was it 7 cards? Yeah. Yeah. What, 2:30? Well, we gotta get up at 2:30. We got some packing to still to do. It's 8 now. Yeah. I know. It's gonna be a late night, boys. Early morning. I'll be live from Vegas. What's up? It's Carter in Vegas. Awesome, boys. Yeah, so no, we'll do a stream when we're out in Vegas. We'll probably talk some stuff. I got a lot of B-roll that I took, and I mean, if I have some time, I probably won't have time to do any kind of episodes or videos, but we will be doing some kind of stream. All right, buddy. Thanks, guys, for checking out. We're going to send you guys over to somebody. I don't know who's on right now. Let me take a look. You guys hang out for a second. We will send you guys over to somebody. I do appreciate when you guys hang out for the raid. Not that one. Let's get that one out of the way. Let's do Twitch. Who is on right now? This BBT usually hooks me up here. There's nobody on right now. Let's just send you guys over to Crypto Traders TV. You leaving? Oh, there's a BBT Brett gets here and he leaves when I get off. I could have stayed on with you guys. I'm just wrapping it up. Let's see here. Let's see here. Raid. Who are we sending them over to, Chris? Who is it? No. The piano lady. Is piano lady on? Who else on? Bonsai? Just send him over to Crypto World. Thanks, guys. Give him a holler. The naked lady. She's not on right now. We've been She had surgery on her leg, so she's been MIA. So we'll, thing's still running. Looks like it's running like a beast. I'll start streaming again. You can raid me. Exactly. We'll do some video streams on next game night too, and we're gonna get back into the gaming stuff. We've been doing some crazy Conan Exiles. It's been great. All right, guys. We'll catch you. Stay tuned to Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and you guys will see when I'm coming out. Yes. I just picked up some RVN today.